Hi everyone, I'm Jackie and welcome to 55 Steps to the Light. And today's video is with our movement of awareness for the Ascension body. And we're going to work into a yin yoga pose that is called deer. I really like deer because it works on the internal and the external rotation of your hips at the same time. And we'll do both sides. A lot of the poses I've been doing for you guys can be done in a chair, but today's pose really needs to be done on some type of flat surface so that you have full extension of your legs and your upper body if need be. So I'm going to show you the pose. We'll talk about what we're getting into with that pose, and then I'll show you some modifications in case you need them. Okay, so once you find yourself in a seated position, what you'll do is you'll leave one leg with an M. This is actually an external rotation of the hip when the foot is forward. And then you're going to take the opposite leg and bring it back. When you bring it back, that's creating an internal rotation of the other hip. So we have internal and external. The internal, the foot is back. The external, the foot is forward. The closer you have your feet to your body, so the closer your feet are to your body, the least amount of resistance that's actually going into those joints. And we're talking mainly about the hips, but you are also being affected into the knees and even into the ankles. So the back foot here, you can take the ankle and open the front of it by pulling the toes back. And this is a really nice way if you kind of tend to store a lot of energy, emotion, and tension in the ankles. And that's a nice way to open up and release that. Otherwise, you can take the foot and turn it out, okay? And then if you're feeling pressure in the knees, then I would suggest push your foot away from the body a little bit more and create some space back behind the knee and see if that takes out some of the pain. Just remember, though, that if your foot is moving away from the body, you're actually putting more resistance into the hip itself. So you have to kind of decide what is it that actually feels okay for you at that time. Is it okay to pull the feet a little further away from the body and put a little bit more resistance into the hip joints? Or do you need to pull the feet in as close as possible in order to, because we don't want to create pain. You know, a little bit of discomfort, that's one thing. That's okay. Pain, not so much. If there is full-on pain in the hips, then my suggestion would be to take the pressure out of it is to bring some type of pillow or bolster in toward your hip, the one that's external rotation, so the foot that's in. You're going to turn your body toward that and lay down. When you lay down, what happens is it takes a lot of that pressure out of the hip that you felt when you were sitting up. Hope that makes sense. When you are going to switch sides, go ahead and let your feet come straight out. I like to give them a little shake. I even do what I call little love taps. Again, because what happens is when the body is put into a position, you know, like we're talking about deer, and we're holding that position for a certain amount of time, my suggestion might be 3-5 minutes at most. Then when you put your legs back out, all this fresh oxygenated blood is going to start shooting down through your legs. And so little baby taps like this, so taps of love, are ways to just kind of move that energy and get everything that was stagnant up into the surface. And then when you're switching sides, if you used a prop, take it to the other side. This time I'm going to have the external rotation on my right side and my internal rotation on my left side. And then again, you just, because we're not typically symmetrical on both sides of the body, one side might feel more tight or tense than the other. That's really common. So you may be able to do something more on one side than the other as far as the range of motion goes. Again, the closer your feet are to the body, the least amount of resistance you're putting into the actual hip joint. If you start moving your feet away from the body, it's going to put more pressure into them. If it's too much, lay down. Get that pressure out of the hip if you need to. So, yeah, and like I said, 3 to 5 minutes, just kind of holding the pose wherever that might be. If you want to stretch the front of the ankle, pull the toes back. It's a good stretch. And remember, when you come out of it, again, give yourself some time to straighten out the legs get that blood flowing, send some love into them. So the hips are an area that we tend to hold some of our ancestral lineage trauma would be in the hips. So if these seem to be areas that you struggle with, then maybe doing this type of posture on a regular basis can help move some of that energy. Because ultimately what we're doing is trying to create more space in the body to put more light, bring the light codes in. And we have to take the dense energy out. And the dense energy is stored emotions, which could be drama and trauma. So the idea is to get your body moving. So, all right. Well, I hope you guys have a great Thursday, the rest of it, and a great weekend. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk again later. Okay, bye.